afternoon, good evening, good night, and welcome to Throwbacks, where we talk all things cool and retro. I'm your host, Brad, and this is my co-host, the Bobby, to my Iger, Uncle BJ.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? What's happening, Brad? Thank you, Brad. The man at arms to my He Man, the Tweety to my Sylvester. Good to be here tonight. What's happening?
It is indeed just throwing down some late night pizza and Snapple raid and getting ready to talk some Star Wars.
If you like Snapple, use a. Anyway.
So
Such a
this
delay.
episode we are going to kind of veer off our normal thing, which we kind of talked about last week, where we're going to do a little. Hopefully, it'll catch up here in a second. We're going to do a state of Star Wars. It's kind of how Disney slash Star Wars is doing with the franchise, what's looking ahead, what's happened, and things like that. Before we get to that, I guess we need to do the most recent thing and do our wrap up of the Ahsoka series that wrapped up about 2 weeks ago at this point. So we're going to do a quick overview of the final episode, talk about what we like, dislike about the series, and where we think that we're going to go from there. So if you're ready and nice and tape delayed, we'll get after it.
Punch it, Chewie.
All right, so we open up with Thrawn and company beginning preparations to leave, obviously, the planet. Thrawn gets word about, that Ezra and all of them have been found. So Thrawn goes ahead and dispatches 2 TIE fighters to take out the Jedi ship. That doesn't seem to go too well as that gets sent off and they end up destroying that ship with a little ingenuity from Sabine. But in the meantime, we also get Morgan is gifted, I guess the best way to put it is she becomes a mother, I guess, is a Night Sister mother, essentially. Get some cool makeup, some cool tats, things like that. So she gets some extra power, a little Night Sister sword, things like that. So with the sword, yeah, they definitely did that. Morgan wasn't the only one to get a sword, as Ezra builds himself a new lightsaber with apparently twin parts from Kanan's saber. So that's a cool little throwback to Rebels, obviously, as you get that little top part and looks pretty rad on that. So he's all ready to go for battle this time, so he doesn't have to just force push everybody around all the time. So, there's a moment in between that little section. Sabine and Ahsoka have a moment. Ahsoka's like, I'm going to trust you. It'll work out. We got to trust in the Force, just like my master did for me. We'll jump forward a little bit. Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra, everybody heads towards the temple. They're trying to make it to the ship before the ship leaves. And obviously, it's the only way they can get off planet. Thrawn starts basically bombing the crap out of them. They survive, push through the thing. Anyway, then we get our first really cool first in Star Wars, which, the 3 team up, take out these stormtroopers. And then Thrawn says, hey, we're going to need some a little extra here. And the Night Sister mothers basically create zombies out of the stormtroopers. So what'd you think about the whole zombie, not too on point trooper thing?
I like the way they did that. I'm not sure how that matches up with any pre-established Death Trooper logic, because I didn't read those books, but I remember in the Clone Wars, Mother Talzin reanimated some dead Night Sisters to go kick the butt of the Trade Federation. Was it the Trade Federation? No, it was the Separatist Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's pretty cool how they did it, I think. They look cool. They even made zombie stormtrooper sounds, which was neat, hearing that through the, the helmet.
Yeah, the extra, like the synthesized stormtrooper sounds mixed with that. But I think they rode that line really well of like, this is clearly what we're doing. We're doing like zombie things from the old novels and things like that, but we're not gonna really like hammer it home where it's Walking Dead style. So I think they found a nice happy balance there, and it came across really
I, I,
cool.
th- I
So
think they did too. And people pointed out, why aren't they just chopping them into pieces with their lightsabers? Well, we've never really seen Jedi do that to like living things. Well, except Geonosians, I guess. But it's
yeah,
I don't know. They just didn't.
and at
In
the end of the day,
reality, that would have sucked having to
Star Wars is
having to do
still a. I mean, it's still a Star Wars is still a kid show at the end of the day. It's meant for
that.
kids,
Right.
and
That's
doing
that's what I
too
was
much of
getting at.
that is it's too much of a bad thing. Which, if you do like that sort of thing, you just hold on another, 5 minutes of the episode, and we get to that. So, we get to that by the three of them making their way to the top, where they're confronted by, basically a souped-up Morgan. Sabine tells Ezra and Ahsoka tells Sabine and Ezra to, go without me. I got this. They take off. Correction, sorry. Before they take off, they're fighting the some death troopers that had become zombies, and we finally get our first moment of
Ironically,
Sabine using the Force. Yeah, wasn't that? Yeah, it wasn't exactly on the nose, but it was really cool because in some of the frames, the Death Trooper armor is kind of messed up, and you can see like a ghoulish, you know, zombie looking thing, which again, not on the nose, but just enough to be like, oh, that's cool. Like he's kind of disfigured under there. So maybe these guys were already dead. I'm assuming they were, um, and they were just brought back to life, a part of the group, or they had always been, zombies. But yeah, so we finally get the first time that Sabine uses her lightsaber, and it's in a moment to save Ezra, and you get a pretty cool shot. She pulls a lightsaber, ignites it through old boy's head, kills him, and then Ezra, well, decapitates another one of the Death Troopers. So that's pretty cool. They did a real kind of course, they did the sleight of hand kind of, the rolling head kind of like Attack of the Clones with Mace and all that stuff, but. Um, Cool way to finally
I
get
thought
her to
that was
use the
interesting.
Force. You,
When he chopped his head off, it was technically it was behind that pole, so you don't see him actually
mm-hmm.
cutting his. You just see like the head roll. But I thought that was cool.
you just said a helmet roll. That's how you get away with
Well,
it.
it was his head, but yeah, yeah.
It's
So
just a
they
helmet
might have
rolling
had like
along.
some kind of
It's just that's.
yeah.
It
Disney
looked like it
probably
had
has
like
a
a
look.
sizzle. Like,
Oh
mm-hmm.
yeah, there's always
No, I
some
think
little
yeah.
cut off quarterization. But yeah, I think Disney probably has like a dismemberment limit that they put on these things.
Yeah, they know, and I'm sure they know how to like get around, with the keeping it PG-13 or whatever they probably were at. They're like, okay, what do we got to do? Okay, no blood, helmet, don't show skin, whatever the case may be. But so they got away with that, but a very adult scene and very cool scene, definitely. Cool moment for Sabine to finally use the Force in a moment where her friend, her either lover, sister, brother kind of connection thing, whatever it ends up being, was really put to the test there. So, one part that I think we all were kind of like, you're pushing it, but okay, was just a few moments later, Ezra force jumping into the Star Destroyer and Sabine giving, suddenly being able to tap into the Force pretty good uh, in a way that helped push him in some form or fashion. So that was a little like, okay, that's a little much, but
That
forgivable. I,
was
I
a
don't think it was anything.
stretch, you might say.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what that was just enough to go a little too soon. Could you have been a little closer? And that's all it would have taken. Just have the Star Destroyer be just a tad closer to where maybe she nudges him. That's the
Right.
selling point. So, and then Ezra says, "All right, come on," and you see her, getting ready to run, and you don't ever actually see her jump, which uh, lends into Ahsoka and Morgan fighting. Morgan, starts to kind of get the upper hand just a little bit on uh, Ahsoka, and then Sabine shows up and fights off the troopers. And in the end, Ahsoka does a pretty cool kill shot and takes out Morgan. So, what did you think overall of these lightsaber scenes in this episode. I think we've been craving some good lightsaber duels, and I think closest thing that we could get was the sword that lit up, and Ahsoka. What'd you think of those scenes?
Thought they were well done. I thought all the dueling, so to speak, was well choreographed. I paid attention to a lot of them, the taking down stormtroopers with lightsaber parts, and they all made sense. There wasn't any like, oh, I'm going to whack you on the chest with this lightsaber, and it's not going to do anything like in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
Uh,
almost where it looks
they
like it
all
bounces off the chest.
like no, they all made their mark from what I could tell. They messed them up pretty
Yeah,
good. Uh, yeah, it was cool that I like how Ezra just like, oh, let me duck in the closet right quick and make a lightsaber. I thought that was pretty neat. It shows his skill. That he's not just an idiot that like, oh, I have this lightsaber that my master gave me. Uh,
yeah, and of course, it doesn't hurt that Hu Yang's there, the guy that's helped younglings make their lightsabers and tell them stories and lead them on journeys for hundreds of years. So if you're gonna throw together a lightsaber real quick, it's pretty good to have a guy that's been doing it for hundreds of years. So
and he wasn't really helping him that much. Like they didn't even know who each other were. They were like, "Who are you? Who are you? What?" Like, "Oh, you just happen to have
mm-hmm.
this big closet full of lightsaber parts. Cool. I'm gonna go in here and pilfer it real quick."
Yeah, and quick awesome job by David Tennant. Like, is there anything that David Tennant doesn't do that's just so good? Like they did such a good job of like if you don't know that that's David Tennant, it wouldn't be on the nose that that's David Tennant. But all the humor that came through Hu Yang was killer throughout the season. But we'll say that for the rest of the actual season talk. But to finish this up,
It
yeah. So
was it
you
was
get
on time.
you get as you said, Ezra kind of going, okay, well, see you later. Let me go hide in this closet. The ship takes off. Ahsoka and Sabine try to catch up. Basically, they miss the hyper jump, and Thrawn and company escape. You get Thrawn and company showing up at Dathomir. So whether that's where the home base is going to be, if they're going to build an army, what's in those little boxes, who knows? Obviously, that's going to be something for next season. Is Dathomir home base, or is Thrawn just being like, okay, here I kept my word, I'm dropping you guys off, and now we're gonna go our separate ways. And then you get Ezra showing up in the rebel fleet and reconnecting with Chopper and Hera and things like that. So that's very cool. And then the season wraps up with Ahsoka and Sabine, kind of how the season started. Ahsoka and Sabine continuing their journey together, accepting the reality of their situation, um, and as well as you get, God, what's his name, Balin. Balin's, well, that scene is wild. Him standing on a statue of the Force Father, which I know you're kind of iffy on, but wild there. And then you get, what's her face? What's her name? Help me out.
Shin Hati.
Other Sith chick, Shin Hati,
Shin Hati.
showing up with her little band of misfits. So definitely, so that's cool. And then you have, like I said, you got Ezra or Sabine and Ahsoka kind of looking off in the distance, where you get a uh, final shot of Anakin, um, smiling and nodding and all that good stuff as a Force ghost. So,
Force Ghost.
yeah,
Yeah,
Force Ghost, which
love it.
having that and the Balin scene so close together is are we saying Anakin is the new leader of the father of the Force? What are we gonna get with those things there? But that pretty much wraps up the um, final episode of Ahsoka. So we'll do our overall thoughts. If you want to head off with that, what was your overall thoughts on the season?
That was good. I mean, I didn't hate anything about it. It was fine. I mean, my biggest issue is it left me wanting more than what we got. And I get that more things are coming, but when you watch a show like this, you wanna feel a little more than wanting more. Does that make sense? Um, I
Yeah.
wish it had kind of wrapped up a little bit more. We'd have gotten a little bit. I don't feel like we got enough Thrawn. We didn't get enough Shin, uh, hottie too hottie. We didn't get enough Balin. You know, definitely didn't get enough Ezra. What we did get was a crap ton of Sabine and Ahsoka coming off
Okay.
like sisters that had kind of got off on the wrong foot at some point, and I mean, they kind of explain what happened, but I think they stretched it out to the point where, like, okay, whatever, this is just how they are to each other. Um, where it didn't mean as much at the end when they started working together again. What I like to see it, but it was cool. But we missed a lot of the story there between them off screen, and then when they tried to portray it in the first couple episodes, personally, I was just like, okay, they're just training with lightsabers, or not even lightsabers, like a stick or whatever, uh,
Yeah.
whatever. But it was good. I want to see more Balin. I want to see where they're going on Dathomir. Darth Maul had set up that whole criminal empire there, so there's whatever is left of that is there. Maybe we'll see Kira. Maybe Kira will still be alive and
Yeah.
join forces with them. And I know she's been in the comics, and that's a whole separate deal. But
Same.
they're not known for sticking to the comic continuity, which is fine. But I liked it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know where it quite sits yet. Within I still liked Andor more. I probably liked it.
Oh, hold that thought.
Oh,
We'll get to those here in a minute. We'll
okay,
get
okay,
to
okay.
how we're gonna rank them here in a minute.
I'll,
Um,
okay, I'll quit mumbling then.
yeah.
I liked it. That's what. Good.
No, and I liked it too, and uh, I thought of some of the. I get why they went a lot of the ways that they did. You had to do enough to tell the story to make people that have never seen Rebels care about these characters. So you had to do that, and I think a lot of people's was think issues where, well, I don't like how Ahsoka is. She's just that's not how Ahsoka acts. She's just kind of blah, 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 blah. But then if you take a step back and go, okay, so we know Ahsoka a little bit from Rebels, um, and then we know Ahsoka from Clone Wars. Okay, well that's all. She's with her master. She's in her element. All these things. We don't know her as a full-grown woman looking back at her life and going, "Damn, everything I've ever known has been taken away from me multiple times." She lost all the Jedi, and then she lost, Ezra and all these things she lost. Her master, the person she probably loved most as a father figure in the entire world, was the most genocidal maniac, in the galaxy's history for the most part.
It's
Short
gonna
of a
mess
few
up
crazy
anybody.
Sith, but yeah. So she shouldn't really be hopping and bebopping around, doing little quips and hey, Sky Guy, to her
Right.
friends. She's gonna be jacked up, and you finally get that breakthrough with her and Anakin, um, in the Elseworld or whatever it's called. I think it's Elseworld. So you
World
finally get
between
that
worlds.
moment, and then after that, World Between Worlds. Yeah, thank you. And then after that, then she okay, boom. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to be a master. Now I'm ready to trust that I know what I'm doing. That I'm not leading you into a life of war. That I'm gonna train you to be the Jedi that I want to train you. I can have more fun. I'm trusting in the Force and things like that. So all those things, I think
Also,
it was a
I want
lot of development in this season.
yeah, real quick. I also want to say I like the whole flashback with the younger actress because I really
Mm,
think it was good of them to illustrate that, we first see Ahsoka, she's like 14. She's now like in her
yeah,
40s, give or take. I don't know
yeah,
exactly how old, but um,
yeah,
I think it was good to see her younger, so that way people just watching for the first time go, well, that doesn't look like her in the cartoon or whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, it's not. She's grown now. She's older. She's basically like she's older than Luke Skywalker by a bit. Um, I think a little
yeah.
bit older
Oh
than
yeah,
than
by quite a
Han.
bit.
You know, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um,
A- And that's the
hmm
thing too. Add into that fact, even at 13, when the Clone Wars kicks off, you gotta look at it and go, well, she's also was taken away from her parents, as that's what happens. Um, what in a normal Jedi's lifespan, they're like, okay, yeah, you're taken away from your parents, but you're doing this very fulfilling life. You're helping stop conflicts. You're saving people. All this stuff. Well, she's taken away from her parents, and her life goes from training in the temple for to a few years to just all out war, death, and
War.
destruction for the
Yep.
next 30 years of her life. She's gonna be jacked up, and I think they really demonstrated like overcoming that, and accepting what was and now what is. And I think really it kind of hits home for us, military vets. You look at it and go, yeah, I mean, that happened, that was reality, but now, at some point you can accept what is and what was and put them in their own place, and carry on with yourself and learn how to be happy with things.
Yep. Hmm.
So overall, very good season. I think one that will obviously continue. But before we continue, we're going to take a quick little break.
Damn, Santa's coming to town. Santa! Oh my God! Santa here? I know him.
You thought just because we were talking Star Wars, we weren't going to take a Santa break? We are 73 days away from Santa Claus coming down the tree, and he's going to bring some Star Wars stuff. So we could not have a show and not mention that. So now let's jump into. We're going to rank our Disney Star Wars shows. We're going to exclude, the kid shows, um, or the for sure kid shows like Young Jedi, things like that, or Jedi, not Jedi Tales, but Young Jedi, things like that. Even really like mini series, I'm gonna kind of cut those out too. But um, so out of these, this is gonna be our list of things that we're gonna be able to choose from. So we're gonna plow through them real quick. We got Star Wars Resistance, Mandalorian season 1, 2, and 3, Clone Wars season 7, Book of Boba Fett, Bad Batch season 1 and 2, Andor, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka. I think that pretty much qualifies everything. Like I said, we do have Tales of the Jedi, and a few other small little things, built in there. If you wanted to even say Legos, and some people's minds has adult humor and can be used as that. But for this argument, we're going to go with what we got there. So we're going to start with me, and I'm going to go ahead and we're gonna cut them off, go through them, and I'll go through them. BJ will go through his, and then we'll kind of just talk about each other's list. So I got Resistance as the worst, and I'm gonna also put a caveat here. I don't think any of these seasons or these shows were particularly bad. I don't think they insulted Star Wars. I don't think they uh, poo-pooed or pee-peed on Star Wars lore, Star Wars legacy, or anything like that. Resistance was just not my cup of tea. I get what they were doing. I didn't, I wasn't offended or hated it. I can watch it and not be overly annoyed by it. So with all these things, even the worst thing isn't the Last Jedi bad. So I will watch all the seasons of Resistance to not have to watch Last Jedi. So that being a caveat.
I don't know if I agree with that.
That being a caveat for me. Bad Batch season 2 comes in next. Then I got Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian season 3, Bad Batch season 1, Andor, Clone Wars season 7, Obi-Wan, and this was my tough spot. Obi-Wan and Mandalorian season 1, followed by Mandalorian season 2, and it may be biased, but Ahsoka is going to be my number 1.
Weird. Okay. Hmm.
Don't call me weird. It's my list.
Yeah.
Go
All
ahead.
right. Fine. Okay. So from the garbage pactor to the best. I'm gonna have to agree. Resistance is trash. Uh, I could not stomach it. It was absolutely awful. Every bit of it, terrible. Sorry, not for me. Um, and I'm not going to break anything up by season. To me, a show is a show. You know.
Oh, I think you got to break it up by season.
Nah, I can't do
Be
it.
a man.
No, negative. Well, this is me being a
Okay, go
man.
ahead.
Don't break this
There you
crap
go.
up.
You're doing it your way.
So
You're doing it your
that's
way.
right. So I think next would have to be Boba. Uh, then probably I'm gonna throw Tales of the Jedi in here. Probably that.
Okay.
Then
That's fair.
Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Clone Wars, and then Bad Batch, Andor. That's what I got. It's my hot take.
Well, you didn't put in Mando, did you?
Yeah, I did. So that's simple.
I think so. I wrote them all down.
Let me go back. Resistance, Boba, um, Tails,
Okay.
Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Mando,
Okay, there.
Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Andor. Okay, I might have got confused because I just did this like 2 seconds ago. So
There you go.
I didn't think about
All
it
right.
ahead of time like you did.
Interesting. Bad Batch that high. Wow.
Love it. Yeah.
See, I think that shows
Great stories in there.
our. Oh, I thought season 2 was rough. Um, it's interesting because I lean more towards like mine is Ahsoka Jedi heavy, Mando season 2 obviously Jedi heavy, followed by Obi-Wan or followed by season 1 of Mando, which was just a good season, and then obviously Obi-Wan is Jedi heavy, and yours are more uh, smugglery, Han Solo-y, Andor, Bad Batch, clones, which Clone Wars obviously has a lot of Jedi stuff in there, and then Mando, which many will say is obviously more scummy type thing. So you definitely you shy away from Jedi related stuff more so than I do. I'm more hardcore and I want to see the lightsabers. I want to see the Force and things like that. So that's interesting. Okay.
It's not to say I don't. I mean, I like it.
Oh, of
Obi-Wan would have
course.
been
Yeah. I mean,
Obi-Wan would have been number one if they had just edited the darn thing properly. You know.
yeah. Like I said, Obi-Wan would have been 2 for me. Well,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan with her out of it would have been 1. You're right. Yep, 100% would have been 1, followed by Ahsoka, and then Mando season 2, mainly because you're giving me that Luke scene, and that's just freaking bonkers.
Yep.
And the whole hunt to get Grogu back and all that stuff, and just that whole thing
So
was
good.
amazing.
Mm-hmm. Very, very good.
So
Very good. Yeah.
so when we look at this, you know, damn, okay, you're actually not doing a bad job, Disney. I think the thing is each one of these, except for I really think, Clone Wars season 7 doesn't have any issues that I can find. Mando season 1 and 2 definitely don't have any issues for me. But then you have Obi-Wan has some issues, which we've discussed. I think season 2 of Bad Batch is a little slow for me. Boba Fett has issues. It's like all these things could have been home runs, and you just they for whatever reason, certain things that they want to push into these series threw them off. An Obi-Wan show should be an Obi-Wan show with tiny people They have to do with Obi-Wan being around Obi-Wan. There shouldn't be 2, 3 main storylines. No, that was pointless.
It was
Things
all over
like
the
that,
place.
but yeah, and the Boba Fett, like I don't think we needed 4 episodes of him hanging out with Tuskens to get the point. His little side missions with the Tuskens, we didn't need those things. So yeah, not bad. I'm not mad about the state of Star Wars. I think the glaring thing is we need a freaking movie. We need a new movie. We
Yep.
need yeah. I mean that's what if it's gonna be the Ray thing. Let's do it and let's take our time and do it right. You've had years. We haven't had a new movie since what 17,
Yep.
17, 18, something like that. So
Yeah,
I mean we're
17.
way overdue. You guys should have your crap together and be ready to go. So with those, let's see. I think we are doing good. What are we doing good? No, we're not doing good. Okay. What shows are we most excited about coming up next? I put my order in, and this is the shows that we're going to say are confirmed. Some of them aren't technically confirmed, but we know they're going to happen. We got Bad Batch Season 3, Mandalorian Season 4, Andor Season 2, Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, and Ahsoka Season 2. I put Bad Batch Season 3, followed by Skeleton Crew, Andor Season 2, Acolyte, Mandalorian Season 4, and Ahsoka Season 2 as my what I'm looking forward to most. How about you? What you got out of those guys?
Well, right now, and probably because I just watched it and I can't help it, but I'm really want Ahsoka season 2. So I think it's going to be awesome, and I want to see it now. Um, I want to see Bad
So
Batch
that would be your
season 3. That's going to be my yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Bad Batch season 3. That would be my next choice because I really am curious how that wraps up. Um, if you didn't know, I'm really like a clone guy. Really like the story of the clones and what happens to those guys. Um, Andor season 2. Ready to see that. And
Mm-hmm.
and to be honest, I don't care about the rest. I'm not. I think they wrapped up Mando pretty well. If we get another season, of that great. If we don't, I'm okay with that. Let's do other stuff. Hopefully they do a Boba Fett uh, thing that's just Boba Fett. So if they did that, that would be my next choice with Boba Fett. Um, Skeleton Crew. I honestly I don't care until I see the something tangible about it, other than hey, we have a show called Skeleton Crew. Maybe now that some of the strikes and stuff in Hollywood are over, maybe they can do some proper marketing for it now. We'll see, hopefully. And Acolyte, same thing. I
Well,
don't
and
know. It doesn't really sound super interesting to me. Hopefully, we'll see something of that that'll get
oh,
me
it does.
excited about it.
Oh, it sounds crazy. From what I've heard, rumor wise, it's supposed to be freaking Sith, crazy nut stuff. But here's an interesting thing about the upcoming shows. Out of these shows that are all but confirmed on almost all of them, we've got Bad Batch, Skeleton Crew, Mandalorian, and Ahsoka season 2 are all going to tie into each other, from what I can tell. Skeleton Crew is going to tie in with Mando and Ahsoka. Bad Batch is going to tie in with Mando slash Force Awakens and all that stuff with the cloning that we saw in the end of season 2. So all 4 of these shows are going to kind of tie in to what's
Oh
going
yeah,
on post Return of the Jedi. So okay, cool, dig it. So that's interesting. And like we said, Acolyte is supposed to be, you know, some kind of Sith hardcore dark stuff. So will be something interesting to see for sure. So now that we got the confirmed things, let's jump to hopes for more sequels from this list, or seasons, extra seasons from this list, or new seasons that haven't been given for sure to get a second sequel. Like for me, um, give me Obi-Wan season 2. That's what I want, 100%. I understand that we can't have Vader and Obi-Wan touch again. I feel we can't have them touch again, but I do think
agree.
there's plenty. I think there's things that you can do here. I think
There's
you can
other
have.
things out there besides Vader that for Obi Wan to face. You know,
Right, exactly. I think
I
there's,
mean, Jabba
Rogue
the Hutt is
whatever.
still
There's
alive at this point. You know, and on Tatooine in control of stuff. You know,
yeah, you can have, invading, dealing with Tuskens, whatever. I mean, you can even
Boba
have
Fett
him,
is still a bounty hunter at this point. You know, there's so many things you could throw in here.
that you can tie him into. And I think for me the coolest idea for Vader is almost like there's a book, and I think it's can't remember what it's called that came out. But if you do the same principle as this book, where it's basically Palpatine, Vader, and some guys get stranded on a planet, whatever, and the Emperor's like, "All right, well, you better save me, bro. Get me out of here. Get me off this planet." So instead of that, I think it should be a test for Vader. I think it's you put Palpatine and being like, "Look, Obi-Wan beat your butt again, bro. You're consumed by these things. You need to prove yourself. So I'm gonna, send you to a planet, and you're gonna go through like trials. You're gonna, some kind of force planet, where you're getting visions of Padme. You're making him see all these visions, making him fight things, put him through a whole crap load of stuff to kind of reignite and get that last little bit of Anakin out of him as you lead up into A New Hope and get him in full Vader mode again. I think that would be a cool way to handle it. Have two separate kind of stories. Obi-Wan going. You could have Obi-Wan never leave his damn hut. He could be sitting there talking to Qui-Gon, working on his Force stuff. Qui-Gon's like, "Hey, you gotta let go of this Anakin stuff." And then guess what you get? You get all the flashbacks that we want to see again of Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars. This was not
Well,
your
they've proven
fault.
they can do
Duh.
flashbacks pretty well, so that would be cool.
So you just have him sitting in a hut, go check on Luke a couple of times throughout the season, and then just a hardcore season like that. Everybody's basically, Vader's going through his trials to become more Vader and more evil, more in tune with the dark side, while Obi-Wan's going through his trials of forgiving himself, accepting again kind of what is and getting ready to do what he knows he's going to have to do, which is, you know, move on and be able to help Luke, basically from, the netherworld again with Qui-Gon and company and things like that, and pass on Luke, which he may not even really want to take on after failing with Anakin. He may want to pass on to Yoda all along. So things like that, I think, would be a very cool sequel. So, how about you? Anything that you want to see from the list above as a sequel, or just a new show idea in general?
I would love it if they did Shadows of the Empire. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be the same exact thing, but it's a very cool time period. It's between A New Hope, uh, and Empire Strikes Back, or is it? Or no, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, let me think. No, it's
No, it's
after.
Empire.
It's after Empire. Let me get it right. It's between Empire and Return of the Jedi, because the whole premise is they're trying to get Han back. They're trying to find Boba Fett, and that would save them from having to have Han Solo in it. You know,
Yeah.
recast Luke, recast Leia. We've got a Lando. You know, um, you could put anybody as Chewbacca and Boba Fett. Well, obviously, Tamora Morris would be Boba Fett, but we've got the droids. It could be done. Cast somebody to be Prince
Oh yeah.
Sizor. Big, ugly green guy, lizard dude. That would be cool. I think that'd be a good story to. Yeah.
Yeah. How they find how they find Han. Where's he going? Is he bouncing around? Different little Java ships and things like that as they're trying to get it to Java's palace and things like that. So
That'd be cool.
I'm down with that. Yeah, yeah. So all right, man. Well, that wraps up kind of our take on where Star Wars is currently. I think it's in a healthy place. I think it's in a definitely we are moving in the right direction. from Mando to Ahsoka to the things that are coming. I feel like the groups are starting to talk to each other a little bit more, and everybody seems to be more aware. Like I said, I think we need a movie stat, but I think it's in a good place. Can it be better? Absolutely. I think it's in a far, far, far better than um, other things. I mean, it's better. It's doing better than Marvel. I feel. I think it's in a better place than DC. It's in a better place than
Yep.
GI Joes, Transformers, all these other big properties. I think it's in a way better spot than all those things. So, um,
Yeah.
you know,
People
that said,
complain
it's
about it,
good.
but it's still good. I mean, I know I have things to say about it that aren't always, uh,
Of
you know,
course, yeah.
complimentary, but I'm just being real. I'm a fan of something. I'm not going to like everything or every little thing that comes out. I'm
And
going
that's
to be like,
okay. Like, yeah,
it doesn't mean I hate it.
yeah,
But it's human to critique things that you are a fan of.
yeah. You like what you like. You don't what you don't. You give second chances, third chances, because it's Star Wars. You give things extra chances to see if you know, did I really not like that? Okay, it got better. Oh, okay, it got better. Or nope, I hate that. But before we get out of here, I want to open some figures this week, and I've got a ton, so I'm going to plow through and do a what I got this week. So let's go through them real quick for the people that are watching on YouTube. We're going to plow through
Woo!
these here. Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, damaged face, coming through the door. I got, speaking of Boba Fett, I finally got a Mandalorian version. So Boba Fett from season two. Yep, season two of Mandalorian. Finally got that through the door. Who do I got here? Clone Wars. Art Trooper 5s. Through the door. You know what? Get
That's
out of
Jesse,
here.
isn't it?
Throwing things. Is that what I said? Nope.
Was that fives?
That was 5s. Yep.
Oh, okay. I need him still.
Clone Commander, regular guy. This guy is, from what I've seen, kind of hanging out on the display. I saw a few more of him today, so not moving too quick. So maybe we'll get lucky and he'll hit discount. Kind of doubt it, but you never know. Clone Commander Jesse coming through the door. A very cool. I won't lie, I already opened up this one. Star Wars: The Old Republic, Darth Malgus. Nice, big, beefy fella. Very cool figure. Very cool sculpt on the face of that one. Now, things I need to open. We got Ezra Bridger, Ahsoka series coming through. We got Sabine Wren just through the door from Amazon like 2 days ago. So, cool deal there. We got Clone Commander. Was he Clone Commander? Yep, Commander Oppo from Obi-Wan Kenobi. And we got Star Wars Ahsoka HK87, little red guy there. And we're going to finish it up with the lady herself, Ahsoka, from the Ahsoka series. I've got lots to
Cool.
open. I had to go buy a whole nother acrylic stands there because I had to go to a new DTOF block. It's kind of a cool time when you got so much things that you can actually put these in a whole new shelf. But you know what's crazy is looking at this line. This is more than we got for Rise. Let's see. Yeah, this right here is basically the same amount that we got for the whole entire line of Rise of Skywalker, and it's absolutely more than we have for Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Return of the Jedi, or not Return of the Jedi, sorry, but Revenge of the Sith, which is ridiculous, unacceptable. Get your crap together, Hasbro, and give us some prequel stuff. But that's it for me. Any last little bits of goodies there for you, Uncle BJ?
I got the Stormtrooper Jeddah Patrol, which
Nice.
I already had one, but I just found a deal on one. So get another one. And I finished out my Afterlife set with Winston Zeddemore.
Oh, you did. Awesome.
Yeah, that was the last one I needed. So be
Awesome.
putting together that critter. Comes with his leg or arm or something. Whatever I was missing.
Yeah. That's killer, man.
To
Yeah.
build a
I
figure.
love completing a little line there, so good stuff. Well, if you are watching this on YouTube, keep checking out our videos on YouTube. If you're listening to this on the podcast, well, keep listening to our episodes on the podcast, but also head on over to YouTube and check out our YouTube channel there for weekly toy hunts, our podcast here that we'll do. And of course, you can also check the podcast out on streaming on Spotify, Apple, and all those good places like that. Always welcome criticism, critiques, what you want more. On our podcast, do you like the entertainment news? Do you want to hear more or less entertainment news? Do you not care what we got this week? Do you not care what we saw this week? Do you want questions? If you want questions, we kind of need you guys to ask us questions because then, it definitely keeps it more interesting. But we'll keep asking ourselves random questions every week. But it definitely will help and help us think out of the box. And it's always fun to interact with everybody. But do those things. Check us out on the YouTubes, the Twitters, and check us out on the podcast. And that's it for me, man. I'm ready to get on out of here, get to bed. I got a whole nother really long day at work tomorrow. And but yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Well, I'll let you go to bed there, young fella. So you can get your beauty sleep.
I need it.
We'll
I'm
do
looking
another...
rather rough.
Yeah. Oof, man, me too. I tell you, I just got. We do this after we get off work, and we're both just spent. So sorry for.
We jazz ourselves up the best we can for it.
Plus, every time
all
I
right,
log
guys.
in,
Well,
my
we will
computer
see you
says,
guys.
Your camera is crap. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna maybe that you need that for a Christmas gift as a little Logitech camera or something. All right, well, for
Right,
Uncle
then.
BJ and myself, we're gonna get on out of here. Throw one back. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Throwbacks. Do us a favor, head on over to Twitter and follow us at ThrowbacksPod. You can communicate, tweet